Next is some Jackie Jones, and the subject is Dave Meltzer's fake leaked AEW contract. I'm sure everyone has seen the fake leaked AEW payroll list, which had Meltzer's name on it. Where also the total bill is listed on it too. All the marks took as 100% fact. So I have to ask, well, that was clearly fake news. You think that personally that Meltzer's working for AEW? I mean, the guy makes excuse after excuse after excuse for them when something goes badly, and he's never in the entire year AEW's been around reported a single AEW spoiler yet. But yet for WWE, Meltzer's trying to spoil every possible reveal. I don't know if Dave needs the money because he makes a fortune with the Observer now, doesn't he? What's his net worth? Joe, look this up. Look up Dave Meltzer's net worth.
Well,
because he's got to be worth a fortune.
I'm going to look up his net worth, but let's face it, it's a $10.99 subscription. How many people do you think subscribe to the website and the paper version? How many?
I have no idea. I don't know. What can I guess? Yeah, how can I make an educated guess?
That's how I'm saying. Guess.
Shit, 5,000?
5,000? You think it's just 5,000?
More than that. It's got to be way more than that, right?
There's
Courtney, do you know this answer?
No.
There's no net worth for Meltzer on. Oh well, actually, there's one that says he's a net worth of $1.9 million.
No, well, bro, here's the thing: the dirt sheet guys are like CNN and MSNBC. The podcast guys like us, Cornette, Russo, these other guys and stuff. We're like Fox News. Okay, there's just two completely different narratives, right? The dirt sheet guys are rooting for AEW. And then we on the other hand are analyzing AEW every week. Okay, we're doing this as analysts. We're looking at everything and we're calling it like we see it. There's no way those guys on some of the things that they're putting over in AEW just make them look like complete hypocrites. Okay, because they're bury stuff in WWE, stuff that happens in AEW, it's great. WWE, it stinks. And it's just like, and this is ultimately the problem with both of the shows these days. Okay, is that when you let me ask you, Conan, you have your universe that you create in AAA, okay, like basically the premise of your show. What's real, what's not. You're trying to create a universe with a suspension of disbelief where the fans are accepting it as real and they want to really be involved in the stories. They want to think people are really fighting, then disbelief. Both AEW and WWE have created these weird universes where it just does not seem the reality exists from one segment to the next. You're doing cinematic stuff, you're doing campy scripted comedy, and you're doing like Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, which is like very real, and you're doing stuff like the Dominic Mysterio stuff, which is kind of like real and everything, in the middle of all the other stuff which does not fit in with the tone of those angles. Same thing at AEW. You're doing some angles, the Cody stuff is real, everything else is based on comedy and everything. But the one thing I see with these WWE, what these writers do, is they're criticizing the WWE on their universe, and they give a pass to AEW on their universe.
Right.
But both shows have created these weird, nonsensical universes. Both of them. And it's like you're giving one a pass, you're criticizing one, you're accepting the other. Bro, there's no way that you can criticize WWE for being corny, stupid, and everything, and at the same time, put over the Jericho musical spot that he did, which is like if you're criticizing anything in WWE, you have to criticize that because that just went off the map with reality. You just did. We're doing a fake wrestling show in the middle of this and admitting it. So it's like the fact that they defend stuff like that and criticize WWE is very obvious to a lot of people. It's obvious to me. What do you think?
I don't read enough of whoever you're talking about to be able to make a statement. So I don't know about, what you're talking about, but I do know this, not too long ago, I had read something from you because we kept getting all these letters from people that were saying, oh, Meltzer, he's always on AEW's nutsack and blah, blah, blah. And then one day I read you all this stuff that Meltzer said about AEW he didn't like.
Yeah.
So he does write stuff he doesn't like. That's for sure because I read it myself.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, what I do think is that maybe, he has friends in AEW that he personally likes. Or they give him information, or bro, you got a team that named a move after you. How much more cool is that in the business you work in? So he's not going to bury those guys because maybe they're his friends. I don't know. I can't get into his head. But what's basically the question? Because I'm not even sure what the question is.
Is Meltzer getting paid by AEW? And I was saying he doesn't need he's not. I just think he's just that much of a fan for their stuff and that much of a fan of those guys.
Plus, tell me if you think I'm right about this. When I look at Dave Meltzer, remember that guy we had on our show, John Arezzi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he was back in the days when they had wrestling magazines. Remember when you would look in the back disco and they had like pen pals and shit?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Well, he was back from that day. And I think like when these young kind of nerds, they look at Meltzer like an old school nerd. Like, wow, this is what this is like. You know what I'm saying? This guy's OG for us, and they all understand each other. The young nerds understand the older nerds, and they all kind of understand each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's never been more true statement in the year 2020 that young wrestling fans, instead of growing up to want to be professional wrestlers, they want to grow up to be Dave Meltzer.